Hello and welcome to another Raggy's Beer Review. So here's a beer I bought from Max's Farm Shop over in Newark. We'll call it Newark. Near Winkburn, where Beermats Brewing are based. Literally based around the corner, about 3/4 of a mile away from there. So this is Kismat. Every beer of theirs has Matt in the name. Every beer. It's a coffee porter. Bronze in class at the Barrel Hill Roundhouse. Made with our own cold brewed coffee. ABV is 5.2%. On the back it says a porter with that chocolate roast character and caramel maltiness that you expect are mellowed out with the infusion of our own cold brewed coffee, which you get a large hit on the nose. There are none of the harsh roast flavours that you normally get from the use of coffee, as it's cold brewed using our own recipe, giving it a real smooth mellowness. So, absolutely love Beermats Brewing Company. I've been to the brewery, been showed around when I went for my beers for my Raggy's Beer Festival for the wedding. We actually went down last weekend. Sadly, they weren't open. So whether we were early or whether they just weren't open, the tap room wasn't open. You know, it is what it is. You know, stuff happens. So black pour, beige head, good inch of head there. Yeah. Chocolate, coffee nose as well. Yeah. And a beer from Newark. Obviously I work at Newark, as half of my job is. And, a very long half of my job. But half of the job as it is. Chocolate at the forefront, which blends into the coffee behind. Very nice, very nice. Not too harsh on the coffee. And I do agree that sometimes these coffee beers, they go overboard. You want a taste of coffee. You want a good taste of coffee. But you don't want it where it's absolutely like, bloody hell, what sort of coffee is this? Oh, bloody hell. That's sleeping juice. Although I have just done a beer review beforehand, so yeah. I had to make sure that I dropped the ABV down because I can already feel it from the last beer. And that was a 7.2. This is a 5.2. So yeah. It's funny how sometimes new beers, and this has always been the factor for me, that new beers will wallop me over beers that I've drank many, many times before. You know, if I've drank something many times before, my body knows that beer. You know, your brain, your body knows the beer. And that can be a 10% Imperial Stout. I've had that loads of times. To me, it's just a normal sessionable beer because of that factor. Whereas when you drink two different beers, and the ABV doesn't need to be big ABV, your body's not used to it, and it can come across as quite stronger than what it is. So yeah, absolute respect for this brewery. You know, make no shadow of a doubt. I haven't seen the chaps since then. That was nearly 2 years ago now. My workplace, you know, no one listens to me. You know, you're a beer reviewer. You work at a hotel. You know, I know more about beer than they ever will. By a massive amount as well. And yet, yeah. For me, on the bar, always would be local Newark beers. We're at a Newark hotel. you should have Newark beers on the bar. People are coming from all sorts of distances to Newark, and I just for the life of me don't understand it. Obviously I'm a gardener, you know, that is my job, but I bloody know the world of beer. Been in the beer world probably longer than they have, you know. I count myself now as 15 years, 5 years of commercial, and then another, well, 7 years doing beer reviews, but the 3 years in between, still drinking lots of beer, still knowledgeable about the beer world, and yeah, and certainly know lots of breweries, know what they do. It disappoints me, but what can I do? I literally can't do anything about it, as much as it winds me up a treat. And it's something that I might even, you know, put forward and just say, you know, even if you don't listen to me, I'll still say it. Sometimes you've got to push buttons, and I'm in that push button mode. Just sometimes just to, you know, go that little bit further, and I'm there. I'm ready. So yeah, I've not seen this, to be honest. Kismat, out and about. I've not seen it in any pubs I've been in. I mean, I don't go in a massive amount of pubs, you know. When we go to Beeston's our king area, and I know that Beermats sell a lot of beers to Wetherspoons, and I get why they do it, you know. Wetherspoons aren't the greatest advocates of real ale, but they do sell a lot of real ale. So if breweries, you know, are open to sell their beers, and you know, what you've got to understand is that a lot of people don't like Wetherspoons, but Wetherspoons, for people that have got a certain amount of money, Wetherspoons is a good resource. And again, Wetherspoons, you know, if you're brewing beer and you need to sell that beer, and they come along and say, look, we'll buy it at such a price, whereas pubs will pay a bit more, Wetherspoons will buy, you know, X amount. And as much as, you know, I get things from all perspectives, but I also understand, as someone on a low wage, that paying a certain price for the beer, you know, is great. When I've paid literally £4.50 for a pint in Sherwood, and then gone to Arnold, to the same brewery, their own pub, and paid, sorry, £2 something in Sherwood, paid £4.50 in their own pub, and it's like, oof, Jesus, you know. And they're not going to advertise that because it makes the Arnold place look bad. But you know, but you understand where, you know, breweries, you know, everyone's got to make money. And if I look at it from my perspective, at work I earn so much an hour. Out of work I earn probably 50% higher per hour, which makes a difference, you know. Oh gosh, feeling it. I think the heat of the week has got to me, and you know, a nice beer as well. And I do love this brewery, top class blokes. they came to the aid of my workplace in Newark. I won't name the workplace because, yeah, but they came to the aid of my workplace, and I'm not sure if they charged them. I would have done, to help them out, you know, on the wedding where they wanted cask beer. I'm not even sure they do cask beer now at my workplace. It's sad, but I just don't think they do it. You know, wedding venues, I suppose it's all about keg over cask, and yeah, and the keg's shit keg as well, but you know, gotta be honest, going down a treat, bit of Newark beer. Whoa, that is tasting absolutely brilliant. It is a coffee porter that's not too overly coffee, but a good drop of coffee in there. Chocolate, coffee, good flavour throughout. Good ABV as well, to be fair. 5.2, yep. Although I'm feeling it because I've already had a beer before. Sneaky beer review. But anyway, would I drink this again? Absolutely, all day long. Out of 5, for me, yep. A good 4.5 out of 5. Very good beer. A fantastic beer from Beermats Brewing. And that's my review. Thank you for watching. See you soon. I'm going to sleep now because I'm tired. Cheers.